If you feel you have what it takes to be awarded as the best in the business, here is your chance to apply. Head on over to our website, download the form and apply. If you face any troubles when applying or feel the need to get in touch with us directly, email us, call us, tweet at me directly at Sunanda_J or join our Facebook group.
Hello and welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, 18-hour special initiative that celebrates the undying entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. This is the only daily MSME platform in the country, a show where you can voice your concerns and get answers to all your queries directly from our team of experts. We understand the issues that you, the MSME entrepreneur, face, and this show aims to bring you the most relevant and updated information on everything related to your businesses. On the show today, we have a chat going with Unipro on our Insights segment. On Bright Sparks, we are featuring Find Your Class and views on what parents think are some of the biggest challenges in the education space today. Digital is touching every aspect of our lives, so can education be far behind? Unipro is a digital marketing company working specifically in the area of education, helping educational institutions come up with innovative solutions to reach out to students. I spoke with its co-founder on how you, the MSME entrepreneur, can use innovative digital solutions to further your business. Listen in. Let's, in fact, start with the origin behind Unipro, where the idea and the germ of the idea for that really came about.
We started this company in like 2012 with like four people with us, and today we are a team of 34, and we work with almost like 100 plus clients on board. Prior to this, I was working with a media company, large media house called Hindustan Times and Educom. So I saw this opportunity, people spending huge amount of money on print, on the traditional media and other thing. But the ROI was not really defined, and the kind of usage of technology in the education domain was very, very minimal, So I feel anything which is very, very high spending and still unorganized, is actually an opportunity for any entrepreneur. And that's what we saw in education. So we thought to have this kind of opportunity for the advertisers where we can make them understand how digital works, get them on board on digital, and make sure that they're able to, calculate the ROIs, their spends are less and everything. So that's the idea behind the Unipro. That's how we started this.
Okay, you're making an interesting point about ROI on advertisements.
Correct.
Can you talk our viewers through how exactly that works?
Yeah, so basically ROI is like I said, when you put up a print ad, you largely get number of calls, or maybe people walk into your institute or, inquire about your product and everything. But it is really not trackable, so you don't know that how many people are actually responding to it, how many people saw it. The circulation figures are there, readership figures are there, but it's like when it comes to digital, you can track everything, so that how many people saw my ad, how many people clicked on it, how many people actually inquired for it. So you have the entire metrics which is defined in that. So you get to know the entire behavior of the audience. Your ROI is well defined in terms of, okay, I know, these are the platforms that are working for me. My website is not giving me good traffic. My print ad did not perform, or something like this. So when you enable the technology with your advertising spends and you leverage digital as a platform, you definitely get to know, you understand, okay, this is what's working, this is what is not working. It's very, very black and white, so, but probably you should definitely use the technology in a well mixed manner.
I was just going to come to that. So, from your experience, would it be possible for you to comment on whether it should be a mix of traditional and digital, or, for MSMEs, given that cost is a huge factor, would you suggest more of digital and less of traditional?
Yeah, so like I said, it's like if you spend really heavy on print, it's not viable for a startup or a SME, right? So you definitely need to leverage more on digital. You have to little less on print. Depends, if your budgets are very, very low, then it should be completely digital. So digital will always be economical, will always give you high ROI as compared to the traditional media. But traditional media has their own advantage in terms of bringing the credibility on board. People see it, large amount of audience seeing it, so all this stuff. So if your objective is really to acquire more clients, and not just not just the brand building, then digital is the platform that you should choose for.
Okay,
Yeah.
so before we talk specifically about digital in the field of education,
Right.
and how education has really been changing, can you tell us, the top maybe one or two things which will definitely work because of technology? I'm trying to understand what the benefits of using technology for
Right.
MSMEs and startups.
Right.
From your experience, the top one or two things.
So the first thing is they should have a complete CRM, which will help you to get the leads at one place, distribute the leads to a different place. They can manage the leads. You can understand from where the leads are coming up. It's the entire process as a whole that you should keep it. So CRM is the one key that you should definitely, look for. And plus, you should also understand what is the post, lead generation thing that you're doing. For example, a lot of people who generate a lot of leads or who generate a lot of responses from the campaigns that they do, but they just do calls on that. Are you doing anything apart from the calls? Yeah. So it's like, are you showing them the YouTube video ads? Are you engaging them on social media platforms? The existing amount of people who have already inquired about your product. So those are the things that needs to be taken care of.
Okay, fair enough. Let's talk about how the education space has changed and how technology is disrupting the education space in India.
Right. Yeah, that's like,
It's a broad-based topic,
it is,
but from
it
your
is.
experience,
Yeah, yeah.
what have you seen? And you've clearly identified that need, or
Right.
where you can fit in your solution.
Sure.
So what has that been like?
So education, I mean, it's like adapting digital into education is like an ecosystem change in itself. So when we started this company, I found it very difficult to convince people that, look, this is why digital. That was a stage when we talked about why digital. You should do this because this is what the data is showing and all that stuff. So it takes time, but people are gradually understanding it, but the growth rate is very high. It's like changing very rapidly nowadays, and that's where the growth point is. We saw the growth threefolds going every year, 100% plus we are growing, and people are understanding gradually that youth is online. So and their audience is online, so they have to be online. So this is something which will change over a period of time. It will take time, but it is growing rapidly. It's like changing very, very rapidly, in fact.
You were talking about reaching out to your audience, which is comprised entirely or mostly, I presume, of young adults.
Correct.
And this is a generation which is always 2 steps ahead of any new technology which is
Right.
being introduced. So
Right.
when you're talking to a target audience that's so digitally and technologically aware,
Right.
how do you change your communication to be able to deal with them at a level that they understand you?
The youth, when they see the online ads, they are really not very keen on reading the entire information. So don't try to counsel the student on the microsite itself. Always give a small information onto it and let them read about it and let them reach to you, and then you can actually do that. So understanding the audience behavior and your communication strategy should be accordingly is actually a very, very important key to make your campaign successful.
We were talking earlier about what are the 1 or 2 things that you would say are the benefits really of using digital for any business. I want to talk about now the downside really of digital or technology, in the sense that at a time when everyone wants to have a bold opinion on social media and is
Correct.
using digital to build brands for themselves and
Correct.
market themselves. How do you contain the downside? How do you ensure that you're creating a unique position for yourself, you're standing out from the clutter, and at the same time, you're
Right.
not, in some sense, going overboard and creating a negative image?
So if you talk about Unipro as a specific, I mean, I would say downside is something, when everybody says you use digital as a platform. So excessive use of digital platform, delivering X number of quantity of inquiries or responses to them, sometimes becomes unmanageable for the client. So plus the quality also sometimes an issue. So here in digital you need to have a very, very it's like a very good balance in terms of how you're running the campaigns and how you're doing the digital marketing to get the desired output that you want. So the downside is something, if you don't use it right way, your money can be like compromised. It's like, so your whole budget can be spent, but still you won't know.
Not getting the results. And I guess that's
correct.
where an external agency
Correct.
role, so a
Correct.
specialist
Correct.
agency will come
Correct.
into play.
That's right.
What next for Unipro? So maybe give us a 5-year time frame, or is that too long?
Yeah, so we primarily doing everything in the pre-admission stuff. So pre-admission is a student who is looking for a website and then coming to the college, walk-in and everything. So we help education advertisers to with the creative stuff, with the campaign stuff, with the technology stuff, but we are not yet reached to a level of post-admission. So we are currently working on a mobile app, in fact, and that's something as a kind of, we call it a my notice board. So that's something which is for the students who are already studying in the college, and they are getting benefit of it. So they can see all the notifications, and we can talk about Glenn. So my primary objective is in next stage. I would love to see something from Unipro side in the post-admission thing, and that's what we are working on right now.
Okay, yeah. So one final question, if you can
Sure.
talk to your fellow entrepreneurs who are in the education space and
Correct.
using technology or digital in some form.
Right.
One piece of advice that you have received in
Right.
your entrepreneurial journey, and what therefore will be the lesson that you want to leave them with?
Okay, so education is a very it's a field which belongs to the academicians, right? So one thing is for sure, you need to be very true, very honest, and you need to be a person who can work like an advisor. And if you try to sell something, it will not work. You have to share the kind of knowledge that you carry.
Let's take a quick break. On the other side, on our Bright Spark segment, we're featuring Find Your Class and views on what parents think are some of the biggest challenges in the education space today. Just stay tuned. Welcome back. You're with us here on Leaders of Tomorrow, and tonight on our Education Week special, we're featuring Find Your Class and bringing you some views on what parents think are some of the biggest challenges in the education space today. Picking up a hobby or pursuing a passion requires dedicating yourself to the craft. Helping folks do just that is Find Your Class, an online research and discovery platform that identifies the best classes and courses near you. Pooja Jain dropped by the company's headquarters to understand how it has leveraged technology as well as local knowledge, featuring this innovative model in the education space. Do take a look.
Finding an activity class that complements your level of skill and lifestyle can be a process plagued with trial and error. Alleviating that problem is Find Your Class, which curates local activity classes and connects the professionals with interested clientele, all via its highly interactive, user-friendly online platform. Founder Reena Nathani walked us through how she's classified the quest for quality classes. So what motivated you to leave behind your corporate job in the US, return to India, and ultimately reinvent yourself as an entrepreneur?
I was a director with KPMG in New York, a lot of sort of process consulting, risk management. I was seconded to India to help them set up offshoring in Delhi. Always wanted to move back. So when I came here, I was doing the Bombay-Delhi commute. And to say the least, it was very stressful. And to de-stress, I started to look for a yoga class. I have 2 young kids as well, started to look for classes for them as well. And being a working mother, managing all of that, it was a nightmare to find the right class. I took almost 3 months after multiple calls, talking to people. And it was at that point that I realized that, maybe there's something that can be done. I think India has kind of reached a tipping point when it comes to education. People are concerned about all-round development. People want to do more things that are passion-based. So, the timing seemed right, I think. So I jumped off the corporate bandwagon after, I think, almost 12 years to set up Find Your Class.
So how has Find Your Class become a trusted name with respect to not just discovering, but ultimately determining that an activity class is right for you?
So, it's interesting. Like any entrepreneur, we have gone through our fair share of, ups and downs and trials and tribulations. We actually started as just a search and discovery platform. And, we realized very quickly that that was not really solving the pain point, both from the point of view of the, end customer as well as the service provider. So we realized that it's very important to dive deep, and we basically curate, what we call curate providers. So we've taken a very subjective process and made it more objective, and we actually vet providers for things like safety, security, hygiene, instructor quality. You should be able to tell, by just visiting the site whether this class is right for you.
So with an established presence in Bombay and a growing presence in Pune and Bangalore, the nature of the business is very hyper-local. So we'd like to understand what it takes to ramp up in a new community with respect to time, resources and manpower.
We have a very strong team, and that really makes all the difference. I think being an ops person, I've always believed in building the pillars first. So we spent a lot of time, almost a major part of the year when we launched, building a scalable platform. So we have daily, if not hourly KPIs for each resource, so that when that listing, that final curated provider shows up on your screen, we have monitored the entire cost and quality of it. There's a QC process, all of that. So once you define that, then replicating it in different cities does not become an issue.
So how do you think about the business model at Find Your Class, and how has this business model evolved with time?
Sure. So it's interesting that you say this, and again, our business model, I'm sure like any other startup, has really evolved. We have our basic sort of B2C component, which is lead generation and getting subscriptions for advertising, which because we provide quality information, we also get very high quality leads. When we started to get known as being curators for classes, we actually had schools approach us. And we've now built a bespoke model where we run the extracurricular activities for schools. So they have trusted providers, they have the platform to book and review classes, get progress reports. So the school model has become a second model. We're getting a lot of requests from communities and businesses and corporates to step into actual IP around these classes. So how do we, in general, bring the quality up in this space? In December, launched what we call the Family Activity Pass. Realized that there's a dearth of things to do with your family as a whole. Other than going to the mall or the movie theater, what do you really do? So we had events like the Sherlock Family, the Family Master Chef, the Sportsathon, which really got a lot of positive feedback. That's where I see us going forward as well. That we will be building IP around these individual classes. In addition to the B2C, this is the B2B2C.
Bringing together vetted instructors and vibrant students across 4 of the country's major metros, the Find Your Class platform is a case study on the connect of a well-designed user interface. Curating over 150 different activity types and more than 25,000 classes overall, it's safe to say that Find Your Class is bringing classes to the masses.
While we've been bringing you stories of what companies are doing in the education space, we thought it's also best to bring you viewpoints of what you, the viewer, think are some of the biggest challenges that exist in the education space right now and how some of those can be addressed. Take a listen to some interviews that Shubhangi Sinha had earlier.
We need to move more from rote learning, where children do more of memory, to more of skill-based learning. What I mean by that is, give students more projects where they can work out in the environment outside, in the external environment, learn more about what the external environment is there, and see how they can apply more of things learned in the classroom in the real world.
So I think the biggest problem with the Indian education system right now is the lack of opportunities. The lack of opportunities in the sense, as in only the IIMs or the IITs, now they limit the opportunities to very few. And perhaps if that can increase, then it'd be a greater help to the nation as a whole.
So in college level, my daughter is very good in medical, but she is also learning. She is also very good at the literature. So it's not possible to have both the streams at the college level. So that should be included. Minor and major stream should be included in our education system.
We have one of I wouldn't say the best, but one of capable education system. But what we need actually is more of a practical education. Like what we are studying in schools, colleges is more of a theory base. But if you could just put more emphasis on how the application or where the application of these theories would be practical, I think that would make more sense to make a successful profession out of it.
There is a pressurized system which has come up specifically in India because of whatever competition or whatever. It has come up with that directly comes to parents and then they transfer it to kids. So this is the hierarchy that follows now. Earlier it used to be like directly going to the kids and kids used to get that responsibility. I have to do it. Now it has come to parents and then they have to pass it on to the kids.
There should be not regular tests but regular exams after 6 months. So they can study in peace rather than having every 3 months unit tests and terminal exams and all that.
I think that the girls in the schools should be given education about sex education, about adolescence, about puberty and things like that which are sensitive, and sometimes even parents are a little reluctant to talk about openly to their kids. So that should be incorporated in the system.
I think the app-based education is important for the children. Okay, currently the use of technology by the children is very high. Okay, and basically the education, the virtual education. Okay, the education in the form of video, in the form of images, would help children's in a better way.
Well, I believe that our education system is one of the best in the world, and that should be. But yes, we should evolve it further. Like these days you have those smart classes, the concept which is coming in. So I think slowly and gradually we are picking up on that. So we should be building on those lines. Like yes, education apps coming into the picture, and a lot of concept-based education is required, so that the concepts, practical exposure is given to the students.
As for me, like app-based studies will be a better idea to scale up the things in India. And concept is new, but the final thing is that it will help in easily scaling up, because opening up new schools or something is much more costly affair than coming up with this app module or some other modules. That will be more helpful.
Virtual classrooms and app-based learning may change the face of education in the near future. But the biggest change parents wish to see in the current education system is to move away from theoretical learning.
That wraps up all the stories that we've brought you on our Education Special Week. Do remember, if you're a company that wants to be featured on our show, you can write in to us at leadersoftomorrowtimesgroup.com. You can tweet at me personally at Sunanda_J. You can reach us on social media using the hashtag LOT, or call us on that number that you see flashing on your screen. We promise to have all your queries answered. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
If you feel you have what it takes to be awarded as the best in the business, here is your chance to apply. Head on over to our website, download the form and apply. If you face any troubles when applying or feel the need to get in touch with us directly, email us, call us, tweet at me directly at Sunanda_J, or join our Facebook group.